What's going on, Ambitious Vets? Welcome to episode number 20 of the Ambitious Vet Show with U.S. Marine veteran and international best-selling author, Ryan Reed. Welcome to the Ambitious Vet. My name is Chris Hoffman, Marine combat veteran turned passion-driven entrepreneur. Now, guys, we're here to dive into the trenches with today's top-performing military veterans that were once warrior-made but are now passion-driven. Now, as they share their stories, their failures, and their journey of what it took, we just hope this unlocks your secret formulas to living a more meaningful, impactful, and top-performing civilian life. All right, guys. So for those of you guys that listen to this, I don't know why you're not already in Veteran Empowerment Transition Group on Facebook, guys. If you guys are the ones that are out there with big visions, getting met with big adversity, and you're kind of like me 5.5 years ago and a lot of other veterans that are inside of our tribe that are getting met with big adversity and just think that they're lacking resources, when in fact, what you don't know is what you don't know, which is you're lacking self-awareness and perspective. Right? Now, guys, I want you to come over to Veteran Empowerment Transition Tribe, guys, because we're really creating new breeds of transitioning veterans. Ones that are resourceful, self-aware, executors, and passion-driven, guys. We have over 550 ambitious vets there where we do 2 weekly live Facebook Lives a week where I go into one passion-driven tip of the week on Tuesdays at 7 p.m. every single week. I also bring in a top-performing military veteran that's killing it in the marketplace, whether it's in the corporate world or entrepreneur. They're coming in bringing what we call golden grenades right inside the tribe live, where you guys can actually ask them questions live and get engagement with people that are winning out of the uniform at high levels. Guys, also there's tons of resources, networking to be done. It's a complete open forum with one end goal in mind is how do we get you to become a top performing veteran? How do we help you create a personal brand that impacts out of the uniform? That's the whole point, is united we rise, together we succeed, guys. I'm excited to connect with you personally inside Veteran Empowerment Transition. We'll see you there. All right, so today's guest is Ryan Reed, U.S. Marine veteran, and also now currently a firefighter serving his community. He's an MMA instructor, leadership consultant, and now after 2 decades of experience, his mission solely is to instill leaders with inspiration needed to harness their true potential, guys. He is an international best-selling author where he's recruited some of the top leaders inside the leadership arena and industry as far as teaching best practices around that, and creating his international best-selling book, Self-Leadership, The Art of Becoming a Leader. Guys, here are a few golden grenades I want you guys to actually listen for. One is what failure actually means. His philosophy on goal setting, how immediate dead-end opportunities can be tools for next steps, what studying your craft can do for your bank account, value, and personal brand, and what he learned about failure. Guys, I'm excited to bringing this to you guys on iTunes, Stitcher, and Google Play. I hope you guys are enjoying this right now. And guys, you're going to love what you hear and what Ryan brings inside this conversation. So guys, without further ado, let's go ahead and dive in with the international best-selling author and leadership strategist, Ryan Reed. Brother, you there?
Yeah, thanks for having me. I appreciate it. I appreciate that introduction.
Yeah, brother, you got it. Welcome to the Ambitious Vet, man. So go ahead and fill the introduction from that introduction, and just let us know a little bit more about who you are outside of just being this leadership expert out there, man.
Well, like you said, I'm a firefighter. I'm really passionate about serving my communities, continuing to serve. Once I got out of the Marine Corps, I knew I still wanted to serve and help those around me, and firefighter was a logical next step to me. And I love it. I'm sure everyone has always heard, I never met a firefighter that didn't love his job, and I understand why now. It's a great job, great profession, and you also have time to pursue other interests as well. Like you said, I teach martial arts, train jiu-jitsu, just came from jiu-jitsu class right now, and I highly recommend that to everybody. You know, that's one thing that has helped a lot of veterans that I personally know that were struggling when they got out, was trying to find purpose, something to do when they got out, missed that brotherhood, that struggle. And jiu-jitsu has helped a lot of people that I personally know that were struggling. And it's just a great way to build character, build your self-strength, that, whatever you're looking for. You meet great people, get stronger and better shape, you build mental strength. It's a great thing. I recommend that to everyone. It gives you something to do. You get around like-minded people. You're struggling for a cause that everyone is struggling around you. So I really recommend that for everyone. But so train jiu-jitsu. I got a beautiful wife, 2 kids. My youngest is 5 months old. My oldest is 3 years. So so I'm busy at home with the kids when I'm not at the fire station or whatever else is going on. But yeah, that's me in a nutshell. I'm always trying to do something, learn something new.
That's perfect. That's perfect, brother. I mean, I'm sure being a Marine and getting out and finding ways to leverage those strengths and, just really find ways to still have those combatant sports inside of your life really helped out with you kind of transitioning and all that, right?
Yeah, like I said, there's a lot of people. There's a great foundation that I know that I actually donate proceeds from my book to, is the We Defy Foundation. They help veterans that are struggling with PTSD or injuries or whatever it may be. Because they understand that the benefit that you get from training jiu-jitsu and getting in there and finding that struggle again and finding a purpose and getting around those type of people. They help veterans. They sponsor them to get on the mat and train for a year. And because the guy who founded that, he was a struggling veteran, and that's what saved his life. So, like I said, I personally know people that it saved their life. So
that's awesome. That's awesome, brother. Yeah, thanks for sharing that resource. So yeah, brother, I mean, I just want to kind of go ahead and welcome a few. Eric Mitchell, he's actually live with us right now. He's founder of Life Flip Media. He's all about having warriors find their voice in the marketplace. We got Jamie Scott, who shared the show. Thank you, Jamie. I'm going to send you your free copy of Ryan's book right after this. And Bing Keloy, thank you for welcome to the show, guys. Now, if you guys have any questions or anything like that, go ahead and drop the comments below. If you guys get any golden grenades from this, go ahead and launch those here. But guys, we're going to go ahead and dive right in. So Ryan, brother, tell us a little about your transitional story, man. Tell us that story of getting out of the Marine Corps and, how you started finding purpose and fulfillment out of there, man.
Okay. So I'd say the main thing, before I got out, I had a plan. I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do, but I knew I was moving forward. I knew my next step. I don't think you have to know your end goal, but you need to know a direction. So while I was still I was enrolled in college already. My wife and I, we downsized homes just to make sure that everything was going to be taken care of. I had a job lined up, all those kind of things. So I knew my next step. I know a lot of veterans that get out and they don't know their next step, or they just have a dead end job lined up, which that's fine if that's a stepping stone, or moving you in the direction you need to go. Or maybe you're going to school at night. I was working a job, going to school at night. So it's okay to have a job that's might not be leading anywhere, but know where you're going. Know a direction. Know you're going to be constantly moving forward. That's one thing that helped me. I had some mentors tell me that while I was still in, get this lined up, because so many don't, and then they'll struggle, and then they'll just be working one dead end job to another. They don't have any direction or purpose. So I as far as finding a purpose, find goals, hobbies. That's something that helped me. Martial arts. I was doing martial arts while I was in the Marine Corps. So I continued training. So that gave me something on a physical side, a goal, that kept me in shape, kept that fight in me. So I was going to school, ended up completing 5 degrees, ended up getting 2 master's degrees. And I didn't, like I said, I didn't have a goal of that when I was starting off, but I knew I was going to continue to move forward. So I finished ones. I'm going to go ahead. I have the GI, I have the GI Bill. So I looked at it as kind of like, that's my job at the time. And I treated it like that. I'm not a real big fan of school, unless it's not, I know it's not for everyone, but yeah, I learned a lot and it was a great experience. But I knew it's like, okay, I'm finished with this one. I still have GI Bill left. I'm going to go ahead and move on and do it, get my next degree. And that's kind of where that led to, is 2 masters. And I guess the big thing is just looking forward, keep pushing forward, find your next thing. Don't, okay, so as education goes, I completed a degree. I could have stopped there, but I was like, okay, I'll do one more. I said, I build left. I'm going to take advantage of my resources while they're available. And so, yeah, just kept moving forward. That's what really gave me a purpose. As soon as I completed a goal, I found a new goal. If you bench 200 pounds, that's your goal, whatever it is. Okay, you don't just stop working out once you hit that goal. So you find a new one and you just keep moving forward.
So you just kept challenging yourself. It's funny, man. Yeah. For being someone that's not really into being in school, 3 master's degree is really
two
being
masters.
Two masters. Oh, yeah. 2 masters is being really into school. That's awesome, brother. So really, man, what you're telling a lot of these ambitious vets is like really just find what is that next milestone, what is that next thing to shoot for. And when you were doing that, did you have like an end goal in mind, or was it just like, hey, this is the next thing, this is the next degree, or I'm going to train jiu-jitsu, and this is where I want to get to with that. Can you kind of dig more into that on what had you driven to get 2 master's degree and find leverage points to kind of guide you to where you've gotten to be today?
Yeah, well, so as far as like the education side, it's not going to hurt me to get another degree,
Right.
So, yeah. And so I had the resources available, so I'm not going to not take advantage of them. That was my outlook on it. So I'm not going to be like who knows, I might be one day a professor or something like that. That's not my goal. It was just that degree interests me at the time, as based on leadership. So I'll go ahead and do that. Martial arts, yeah, you always have another belt or something. Like my goal this year is to win a jiu-jitsu world championship. So that's, I set a new goal every year, is find a new goal, is find something new. And that sounds kind of cliche, you set your goals, but it's true. You have to have something that you're working towards. And that's why so many struggle, in my opinion, when they get out of the military, because they have somebody telling them exactly what to do all the time. And you need to do this, you need to do that. You have everything lined out in front of you. Then when you get out, you don't have that structure around you. So you have to develop that structure within yourself. And I see people struggling with that because they don't have these goals. They don't have something that they're trying to accomplish. So that would be my biggest thing to tell somebody: set some goals and don't set bullshit goals. Set some actual goals. Set something that'll mean something in your life if you accomplish it. And that way, if you don't get completed that goal, maybe I don't win a jiu-jitsu world championship, but you don't set a goal of just, my goal is not going to be to go train for a day. It's going to be to do something that would mean something if I accomplished it. Same in the business side of things. Don't just set, I want to make $50 this month. Set a goal. Don't set a ridiculous goal. Set a realistic one, but set a realistic goal that will mean something if you achieve it. If you help this company, like if you're working with a company, you don't want to just, I'm gonna help this company do this. That it's kind of like just a little mediocre or something that doesn't really mean anything.
Right.
I want to get them 1,000 new clients. Set a real goal for them that'll mean something when you accomplish it. So do the same with everything in yourself. I don't want to lose 5 pounds. I want to, set a real goal.
Right. That's awesome, brother. I mean, I think it's who you become in the process. You get to know yourself as something different, right? I have a transformative background where I do transformative coaching, leadership coaching outside of my full-time marketing career. And one thing that I find whenever I'm coaching leaders in organizations and stuff like that is it's all about the process of who you become in getting to that end goal. You get to develop new skills. You get to develop a new way of like knowing yourself, which builds confidence, builds new elevations, new thought processes and stuff like that. And you actually get to take on new opportunity by creating
doors.
It does, man. Yeah, for sure. So we do got some engagement. Jamie Scott says 2 master's degrees. Nice. I love that you're constantly setting new goals for yourself. Jamie Scott says, set a goal that means something if you achieve it. You're dropping gold, brother. Stephen Kuhn just said, gents, loving this, steady on. So we got some heavy hitters, man. You're dropping gold. So thanks for doing that, brother. So yeah, man, it sounds like you definitely leveraged a lot of resources whenever you got out of the uniform immediately, man. So would you say that you contribute to you getting to where you want to be, which is passion driven right now, around utilizing resources or being resourceful, or both? And kind of explain how that is and why.
Well, I think being resourceful is using the resources available to you. Using so I couldn't call myself resourceful if I'm not going to use what was the resources around me, right? So you have the GI Bill, you have veterans have so many opportunities, so many. You can go speak to all kinds of counselors, not just like mental counselors, but business counselor, whatever you want to do. The VA, or there's a program out there that can help you do it. If you want to buy a house, you have VA home loans, whatever state you're in. They, so use the resources available to you. At least do a little Google search. What's available for a veteran in California or Texas, wherever you may live. So that's one side of it. So use what's given to you. You earned it. And on another side of things, being resourceful myself. Nothing is at the same time. Don't expect anything to be given to you, and don't rely on what is given to you. So you're gonna have to work for it, and not just work. You have to work harder than everyone around you. And everyone says they work hard, but when it really comes down to it, they're not really working hard. They might work hard from the couple hours that they might be in their job or whatever it may be. But if you miss the workout that day, are you gonna work out at midnight? Are you doing the things that other people aren't doing? Are you if you're a typewriter, or you have to type for a living, are you skipping your lunch break to get some extra work in, or finish the project, whatever it may be. You have to really do that extra. It kind of sounds cliche, but you see that everywhere you go. People claim to work hard, and they might kind of work hard, but they're not really working hard. You can take it to another level. And that's what separates everyone, in my opinion. Who has that real drive to get what needs to be done, no matter what. And don't make excuses about it.
That's good, brother. Stephen Coon has said, read Ryan's book, everyone. Excellent resource from a bunch of professionals. Well, Stephen Coon's actually in the book, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, he is. And he says, damn Ryan, laying out flat out truth. So, man, I love it, man. You're dropping in just straight up honesty, authenticity in here on what it takes to be passion driven out the uniform, brother. So I appreciate that. Okay. There's a good book also on top of your great book called The Magic of Thinking Big that says how you separate yourself from 98%ers is that extra 2% of effort that you put in every single day. So that's really what I hear and what you're sharing, brother, is what is the extra 2% that you need to be putting into in a desired end goal that's worth achieving, like you just so brilliantly said, man. So before we dive into kind of why you wrote this book, man, because it took off very quickly, man. I mean, you were in the top sellers list within like a week, I think. It was crazy. But I want to dig in. I want you to share your biggest failure, man. I want you to be authentic around this. What was your biggest failure when you got out of the uniform, and share that experience and what you learned from it?
Biggest failure? There's been several, and I think that's something important to talk about. It's important to fail at things, because that's when you really learn.
Yep.
If you're not failing, you're not trying anything new. If you're not trying anything new, you're not growing. The one that really comes out to me when you say that is, I had a professional jiu-jitsu match not long ago, and I lost, and I didn't underestimate the guy, because I make it a point to not underestimate anyone, but he submitted me with a technique that I didn't know. And the reason I didn't know it was I wasn't studying my craft enough. And that's true to whatever you're doing in life. If you don't continue to learn, your enemy is learning and training, and he's training to beat you. So if you're not continuing to grow and learn, and whatever, like I said, whatever craft you're in, someone else is. And I didn't know that technique at the time. And even if it's not something that I want to play myself personally, I would have known how to defend it. And I didn't. So he submitted me. And that's the way it goes. And after that happened, that really stood out to me, because because of other things going on in my life, and I wasn't studying enough and really keeping up with what the new stuff coming out. And it just really stood out, kind of hit me hard. And so no matter what you're doing, you got to continue to learn and continue to grow. Even if it's not something that you want to personally do, you need to understand how it works. So whatever profession you're in, it might not, maybe you don't want to go into the marketing side of things, but if a new marketing strategy is coming out and that a lot of people are using, you need to understand it. So maybe you could outsource it, or just understand how it works in case it affects you somehow. That's what comes to mind when you say that.
Right. That's good stuff, brother. So, I mean, sounds like you learned a way to actually not define failure as who you are, but really, like some of the most top professional athletes in the world, what they do is they study game film to figure out what's missing in their game. that could take it to the next level versus actually figuring out something's wrong with them. A lot of people embody failure like it's like they are a failure whenever all it is ineffectiveness. And you just got to find out what that missing, you know, in basketball, what that missing flick of the wrist is, or whatever it may be, that and the next time you don't make that failure. Yeah. You know, that you don't fail the same way again, right? So that's awesome, brother. Thanks for that. So, brother, now, you know, I mean, Stephen Kuhn's coming in here. He says there's only 1 degree between water not boiling and boiling. This means that this 1 degree can power and move an 80-ton train. The smallest extra effort can move mountains. Boom. Okay. Thanks for that, Stephen. Jamie Scott says, great points. Don't underestimate your opponent and master your craft on a continuous basis. Brother, you're dropping some golden grenades, man. So thanks for that. So, brother, I mean, now dive into, you know, self-leadership, man, the art of becoming a leader, man. Talk about, you know, where this book formulated from. What triggered you into writing this baby?
Well, actually, what triggered me into writing it, I had a couple of people say I should write a book on leadership. So once the second person told me that, I was like, I'll give it a shot. You know, why not?
Yeah.
And the way I wrote it, I tried to write it in a way that I wish I would have had this 10, 20 years ago, that it would have saved me a lot of time. So I kept that in mind the whole time when I was writing it. So what it is lessons that I learned while in the Marine Corps, while training martial arts for so long, competing professionally, training professional athletes, my 5 degrees, being a firefighter, being a parent, being a husband, just lessons that I've learned throughout my life and all the different ventures I've taken. So I try to take all these lessons and put them in a book. I try to keep it really simple to read because I don't like a lot of fluff. I don't like a lot of bullshit. People like to bullshit you for so long. I wanted to get straight to the point and give some actual lessons that people can really apply in their life, because learning something doesn't mean anything unless you apply it. So I try to give little homework assignments in there, something that's easy to do and something that I've actually done myself, that have helped me in my life, little exercises that I've done that have changed my outlook on things and changed how I carry myself and how I do everything. And I also feature people like Stephen Kuhn, who's adding some value to our little podcast.
Just a little.
Yeah. So I wanted everyone to get not just my opinion, but other leaders' opinions on leadership when they read the book. So I featured a different leader in every chapter in my book, and they wrote a little write-up. And so I have people from doctors to people like Stephen Eugene Kuhn, who's been an advisor to world leaders. I have different veterans. I have active duty military. I have teachers. I have nurses. I have different leaders in their respective field. And I featured them in each chapter of the book. And I think that's really what brought the book together. And a lot of people say that's one of their favorite parts, is hearing everyone's different opinions on leadership and how it ties the book together. So,
yeah, that's awesome. So you got different angles. It's not just from your experiences, it's from other like global influencers coming in here and dropping in their philosophies and their learning experiences and all that. That's good stuff, brother. So, I mean, you know, what I kind of want to switch with this book idea now and stuff like that. I mean, being someone that is a firefighter, wrote an international best-selling book like this one and stuff like that, you probably had to overcome some mental barriers in writing that, because I know a lot of people in this group that say their number one struggle and as an ambitious vet is confidence and actually owning that they're an expert in something, right? So how did you understand, I guess would be the best word to describe it, that you were an expert in leadership, and how did you start creating this tribe around you, like the likes of Stephen Kuhn and other people to be around this vision, man?
Well, there's a lot in that, right?
I know. Just answer. Yeah.
First off, I don't want to. Hey, honestly, I don't feel personally like I'm an expert of anything, and I think if you consider yourself an expert in something, then you're going to stop learning and stop growing. I think what's actually helped me is not considering myself an expert, and I got to understand that I've had experiences that other people haven't, and I might know some things that other people don't. I can help some people, but I don't want to just say that I'm an expert that makes sense how I'm trying to get that across, because I feel like if I sit here and tell you I'm an expert, that I think I know everything, I'm not going to come off as honest and genuine, because obviously I don't know everything and no one knows anything, but I might be able to help some people. But I think the point is to continue to learn and grow. And if you're humble, you got to maintain your humbleness. I guess that's what I'm getting across at, because I see people all the time that start considering themselves experts and then they turn out to not be an expert.
Yeah.
You know, yeah. So, and something else, you talk about how do I grow these people around me and all this kind of stuff. I think the biggest thing that a lot of people need to take away from that is be honest and be real. Be a real person, because people can smell bullshit a mile away. If you're trying to act like something you're not, people are going to know. So don't be that. That goes along with trying to say, if you think you're an expert, you're telling everyone you are. If you're a real expert at something, you're not going to need to tell anyone that. People will consider you that. So don't go around telling people you're an expert in this or that, because they're going to know you're not. Be a real person. Be honest in whatever field you're going into or going to be, or whatever you want to do, or just your average everyday life, your friendships with your family. Be honest. That's your biggest thing. If you want to. Business is about. I had a talk with someone this morning, very successful person. That's the biggest thing he wanted to really iterate across to me, or get across to me, is be a real person, be honest, and people will gravitate towards you. And business is about building relationships, and it's not relationships based on, which I see a lot now, is people try to go network, but it's all about, I want this person to do something for me. Or how do I get this person to do this for me? Build real relationships. Go meet somebody. Be honest. Be upfront. Don't just see what you can get from them. Right. Go with an open mind and just have a conversation with this person. You might, it might be someone who saved your life one day, or they might end up being a best friend. Don't just show up and be like, oh, how can I get this guy to do something for me? Because people can sense that you're not building a real relationship. That's what's helped me create the people I have around me and all that kind of stuff. Why the book, I believe, was successful like it is that I try to be honest in everything that I do and everything that I say. And I'm not going to say I'm going to do something if I'm not going to do it. That's something else I see a lot from people now. Like, oh, I'm going to do this. Because they're trying to make me their friend, or, because especially after that book came out, I had a lot of people telling me these things, and they're just trying to get me on their good side. And then they turn and leave because they want to get me to do something for them. It's sad. To me, it's sad. You can't just have a real relationship with people.
Yeah, that's good. That's good, brother. There was a lot to that, what you just said. Okay. But I think what I love about this idea of the book, and I actually am going to be ordering a copy right after this, as well as I order free copies for anybody that shares this show, is that it's self-leadership. So it's starting from within out, right? And what was the biggest need that you saw in the market to deliver this book, man? What was the thing that you're trying to solve?
So I wrote it like that, but I get people asking me, how do I get my employees to do this? Or my employees aren't listening, or how do I get people to follow me? How do I get this? How do I get people to basically do for me? Well, maybe you're not the person that these people want to follow. Maybe you need to fix yourself in order to get your employees to do what you want them to do.
Right.
Because I've had several bosses, and both in the military and out, and people I've worked for and things I've seen. They're having so much trouble. They're having a lot of people leave their company, or they're not getting high performance, and everything they look at is external when it's really internal. So they needed to fix themselves. There's a reason that everything else around you is not going out the way, or not going the way you want it to go. And it's not everyone else's fault. So sometimes it's your fault. Majority of the time, it's going to be your fault. And a lot of people fail to look at themselves first. So that's why I felt, if you want to be a leader, you got to be a person people are willing to follow. I'm sure you've seen, and all the other veterans have seen, people that got promoted and got put in a position that they shouldn't have been in that position, and they just use their rank. So I'm a sergeant now, you have to do this. I'm a corporal, you have to do this. And then at the other time, you see sergeants that people would follow to hell and back, with at the drop of a hat. And so what's the difference there? That person became the person that he needed to be in that leadership position. When the other person didn't, he was relying on his position.
Yeah. That's awesome, brother. I was actually listening to another interview that you had with Albert Polanco. I was listening to that while I was at the gym this morning, brother. And that really good interview. I got about an hour into it, but it was a lot of rich content. And yeah, I think we all can agree. I mean, I was a Marine, you were a Marine, and it's always the guys that should stay in that get out. It's the ones that stay in that should have got out.
Yeah.
And they lean on that positional leadership versus being a leader. So I want you to kind of, because you did a really good job of explaining that inside the interview with, is it Albert or Alberto? It's Albert, right? Albert, yeah. That's right. Yeah, that's right. And, explain the difference between positional leadership and like just having the qualities and attributes of like a leader, man. How would you describe that?
To describe it, man, it's people should gravitate towards you if you're that, and not in like a cocky, type of way. You shouldn't be out walking around trying to get people to huddle around you. You shouldn't need that. That's the thing. You should be comfortable with yourself. You should work on yourself enough. And like I said, whatever field you're in, you need to be studying your craft. You need to be exercising. You need to be eating healthy. You need to be doing all these things. When you start doing all these things, you need to be a good person. You need to be humble. You need to be honest. You need to be a real person. Like I was saying earlier, when you're doing all these things, you'll naturally progress in your field or whatever your craft is, and people will naturally follow you because you're able to help them in like whatever you're doing. You're able to be a leader. You know your job, so you're able to teach these people things. So that's the way it starts with yourself, not just everything else that's going on. Once you build yourself up correctly, you'll just naturally become the leader that you want to become.
Right. Yeah. It's like if you're not being effective, digging into the resources, the books, taking the courses, investing in yourself to where you can actually have people around you, being effective. Because I think being a true leader is creating effectiveness around you through other people and having them understand themselves as bigger. And I got to say, man, even like preparing for this interview today, I posted something, a really long blog on my personal Facebook page around, because at my marketing job that I have right now, I have a sales manager there that is just all about blaming other people, gets super angry when the sales team isn't hitting numbers, and the company has a high turnover rate. And you can go from a top 3 income earner inside the marketing firm to not producing the next month, and like you're on the chopping block, and it's more like who's the next best person. And I think there's a lot of validity there around what you're explaining around how do leaders take people that are like have this pressure on them with high expectations, and how do you allow them to feel understood, but also giving them the resources to continue to expand and grow as an individual. Yeah. That's awesome, brother. That's awesome. I know that you shared a story around a person that influenced you in the Marine Corps. Do you want to go ahead and share that story around the person that kind of influenced you in the Marine Corps and allowed you to like really get a better understanding of what a leader is?
There's a few of them I mentioned there.
Yeah.
Sergeant, I think the one you're talking about, Sergeant Perez.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. He told me something one time and it really stuck in my head, and I wrote about it in my book. He said, if you learn just one thing every day, imagine what you'll know in a year. And when he said it to me, it really stood out. And just one of those things that really stuck in my mind. And I made that a point after that. It's something really simple, especially with technology now. You can learn something easy every day. Read a book, whatever your job is, learn something new about your job. Just one thing every day, which could take 5 minutes. Imagine what you'll know in a year. Right. If you continue to do that on a daily basis. And that really got me down that path of always just constantly learning and constantly growing in whatever I'm doing or pursuing. And he also, he would never call himself an expert. He's one of those kind of guys, but everyone would gladly follow him because he outworked everybody, and he never asked for anything. He just did his job, and he did it harder than anyone else would. No matter what's going on, he was just gonna go get it done, and he's not gonna complain about it. He's not gonna, and I got a lot of that from my dad as well. He, whatever needed to get done, just don't complain, just go do it. And you do your job as best as you can do every time. That's something that seems really simple, but it's the little things that add up to the big thing. Ounces equal pounds, right? So the little things are. I compare everything to martial arts because it's a reflection of life, I think.
Nice.
A lot of people don't want to train a jab because it's the most basic part of a fight. but if you throw an effective jab, you can control a fight. So people don't want to train the basics. They want to learn a spinning back kick or something cool, but they don't want to they don't want to learn the basics. Like the basics of life is just be a good person, be honest, little things like that. If you meet someone who's really honest and stands by his word, I'm sure you've met somebody like that they stand out to you. It's like, man, this guy.
Absolutely.
So it's like little things. Do the little things right in life and everything you do, and the rest will fall into place.
Yeah, no, absolutely, man. There's a lot in what you said. Integrity, being someone that actually follows through with what they say they're going to do, and really just being someone that is, masters the basics of what it takes to actually lead individuals and not get to a point where they're at a position or at a higher level and they use that to manipulate and lead through fear, right? So that's good stuff, man. So Jamie Scott said, take responsibility, not blame. I wrote this on my personal page. I like action takers, not excuse makers. Eddie Vargas, thanks for joining us, brother. So, brother, before I go ahead and let you go, I want you to drop 3 golden grenades right here inside the tribe that could make immediate impact for anybody out there that's looking to kind of expand their leadership out there outside of the uniform. What would be those 3 golden grenades?
Leadership aspect, I kind of already mentioned most of them. Like I was talking about earlier, hard work. If you're in a leadership position, that doesn't mean you sit back and stare at your computer all day. It means you outwork all your guys, or girls. I don't want to offend anyone on here.
Right.
But anyway, like I said, it sounds really simple. You work harder than everyone else. You get promoted, it doesn't mean you get to sit back and do nothing. Now you have more responsibility on your shoulders. Now you work harder than you did before. If you want to be in a leadership position, hard work. It's simple. It's the simple things. You want some golden grenades here, but that's what really changes.
100%.
Makes a big change to me, or a big impact, is hard work, honesty. Like I was talking about a couple minutes ago. Be honest. Don't tell your guys you're gonna do something and then not do it. It's little things. Little thing. Ounces equal pounds. If you do all the little things, if you need to get this done, then get it done. If you have a deadline to meet it. If that means staying up all night, then stay up all night and do it. There's a hard work part of it. If you stand by what you say you're gonna do, and that reputation will build around you, and doors will open. Everything will just start falling into place if you become that person. And say the last thing is morality. I think that's a good way to put it, is being a good person. No one wants to work for, first line of my book, no one wants to work for a drunk asshole. I mean, I love it.
Yeah.
You don't want to work for a terrible boss. So if you're in a leadership position, no one wants to work for you if you're a bad person. Be a good person. It doesn't mean be like you don't have to be a tight end, everything has to be perfect. You don't have to be that kind of person.
No.
But which that goes into being real. Be a real person. And that's what people want. That's what people want to follow. They want to follow a strong, honest, hardworking person.
Right.
You got to take care of them. And that's where the morality part of it. Take care of your people. Make the right decision. Don't just make it based on money. Don't make decisions based on sales. Don't make decisions based on your shareholders. All that stuff is bullshit. Make a moral decision. Do what's right for the people that you're leading. And if that means taking a pay cut, take a pay cut and take care of someone else that's below you. And that's something that I see a lot now, because that got really popular. It's based on the shareholders, and it's based on the profits, and that's why companies fail. That stuff has to be taken care of. But if it's at the expense of your employees, that's not the right choice. So take care of the people around you. Be a good person, and be the hardest working person around you. That's my advice.
That's awesome, brother. Ounces equals pounds, ambitious fats. That's huge. That's a prime example of the compound effect of small daily disciplinary actions add up to huge results. But if you don't know how to create routines, rituals, and habits on a daily basis, how do you ever expect to be benching 350 pounds? How do you ever expect to be making 6 figures? How do you ever expect to be a best-selling author, right? So, brother, I mean, I just want to acknowledge you for who you are, man, and the military community, man. I mean, being someone that balances being a father, husband, firefighter, MMA rock star, and now an international bestselling author. Well, I mean, you're going. I get that you're a humble guy, man, but you really are balancing a lot, man. I just want to acknowledge you as someone that's a leader in our industry and really creating waves and adding value to us and allowing us to, shift the paradigm of the world that we're not actually broken, man. We are leaders.
Man, that's a big thing. That I'm tired of hearing about all the veterans are crazy and we're all a bunch of alcoholic, can't do anything, PTSD having maniacs. That's every movie you see. That's every veteran in there. That really drives me crazy. I hate seeing that. Veterans are leaders in our community. Me and Stephen Kuhn actually had a big talk about that a few times.
Yeah.
The veterans are leaders in community, and you need to step up and act like one. That's my opinion on all that. So.
Own your freaking power, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, own it, man. Perfect, bro. I love it. Thanks for that, man. And again, I just want to thank you for joining the show, dropping some golden grenades in here. I'm sure everyone in here got a lot of value. I mean, Jamie Scott said she's not offended, man. She says, I accept guys as general term. She's awesome. Awesome. Well, brother, is there anything else you want to kind of drop in here before we go ahead and let you go?
If you read my book, I'd like to hear some feedback about it. It means a lot. I've got a lot of good feedback. It's helped a lot of people. So yeah, if you read my book, easy to find, Ryan Reed.
Yeah.
So you can find me on Facebook, wherever. But I'm sure he'll have a link for it somewhere on there. So read my book. I'd like feedback on how I can improve it if I write another one.
All right, Ambitious Vets, there it is. Episode number 20 of The Ambitious Vet with Ryan Reed, guys. I hope you guys really enjoyed that. As always, I'm going to give you my afterthoughts and my biggest golden grenade that I took from it, guys. What I really took from Ryan Reed is that, guys, it's about ounces turning into pounds. Small daily disciplines that it takes to add up to big results. For those of you guys that are inside the group, you hear me talk a lot about The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy. Well, that was a book that changed my life, had me realize that it's a marathon, not a race. And that's why you hear me end any show, any live with the whole division and trust the process by Rumi, because it really is, as Ryan said, mastering your craft. And as he was talking about, you'd be surprised what mastering your craft can do for your bank account, your value, and personal brand, right? So guys, one of the biggest things that he was talking about too was, what are you missing in your basics and your fundamentals of what it takes to be a leader and build your personal brand and value? So guys, it's really that, the ounces turning into pounds. If you don't live your life with integrity, if you're not being your word to people when you say you're going to be, if you're not scheduling things, putting a to-do list down, setting goals, all this stuff that you read in the basic personal development books, then you're going to be like 80% of people that never realize anything that they envision before they go to bed. Imagine that, guys. If you study anybody that is a master of their craft, they've put 10,000 hours into implementation. Think about that. Being in action in what they're passionate about. I was listening, and it's actually September 15th today. It's actually around 10:27 at night over here. I'm over hustling on a Saturday night, and this show was filmed, or actually recorded, rather, on, I believe, February 24th. With Ryan Reed, guys. We're actually excited to get this content out to your guys' ears because it is good. But guys, imagine this, okay, right? Like, it takes 10,000 hours of implementation. Today, during the day, I was driving, and I listened to a lot of audio, motivational YouTube videos while I'm driving to keep my energy up. And I heard this video from Gary Vee that says that too many people consume, but they never implement. When you go and you pay tons of money on workshops, books, resources, all this kind of stuff, which we're all guilty of, as far as investing, which is not necessarily a bad thing, right? But the bad thing is we go as individuals, go invest all this money into building skill sets in our desired crafts, industries, passions, whatever it is, and then we make it good for that business owner by not implementing it. And then we go and consume, but never create. Guys, how you build your personal brand, build your bank account and values. You go learn something. Then you go repurpose it and you share it. That's my formula. I go and I study some of the top performers, military, non-military, and I repurpose it based on my life experiences and the trends that I see in the military industry. It really is that simple, but I get it. It's also not that simple, right? Because it also, if you read 10 pages a night of a book of a skill set that you want to develop a night, in 12 months, you would have read over 3,700 pages of a book. You would have gained enough insights and wisdom to master your craft. But again, you can consume all the insights and wisdom all you want, but if you're not implementing and putting those 10,000 hours in, you're never going to be the outlier out there in the world disrupting an industry, guys. So that's my biggest thing. Charge for you guys this week is, how are you guys going to go put your 10,000 hours into implementation around your craft to build your bank account, your value, and your personal brand, guys? Go out there and do it, guys. Now, here's the thing. As always, guys, rate and review the podcast. We definitely appreciate it over here. It allows us to, just help reach more veterans with it, plain and simple. iTunes and Stitcher just rate it higher whenever there's more ratings and reviews. Also, if you guys have any feedback on this show, please email me at choffman@vettrainingcoaching.com. It's choffman@vettrainingcoaching.com. It's 2 F's and 2 N's at the end. Guys, and also, we already know that you're warrior made, but guys, to become passion driven, get out there and implement just one golden grenade. Turn your ounces into pounds, guys, and I promise you, it may take 3, 6, or even 1 year. Maybe it takes 5. Who cares? Guys, you will be living that top performing civilian life. Now let's go get it.